Last time, Joe. Last time.
He's starting to close up. Come on.
Honey, it's too much of a chance.
I'll do it myself. Give me the gun.
Sorry, folks, I'm closing. I said I was closing up.
Come on, Dad. Open the register. Quick.
Hey, there's only $12 here.
Where's the rest of it?
That's all. That's all there is.
Look, you've been taking in dough all night. We've been watching you. Now, are you going to tell us where you got it, or do we find it?
That's all there is.
Come on, let's get out of here.
For the past several weeks, downtown Chicago had been plagued by a roving gang of young hoods with a new plan of attack and holdup. They would split into several small groups and hit 2 or 3 places at one time, obviously intending to confuse the police. A call came in at 3:10 a.m. that Pop Larson, a Penny Arcade owner, had been found murdered. We figured this was the brutal climax of the young gang's work. Within minutes, I was on my way to the scene of the killing. My name is Frank Ballinger, Detective Lieutenant, M Squad, a special detail of the Chicago Police.
Will you give me a report on the blood on that bird's beak as soon as you can?
That's funny. They should have killed the bird.
Well, he probably started squawking. I shot him.
Yeah. Well, whoever opened the cash drawer should have left a nice set of prints.
Mm-hmm.
Who found the body, Captain?
There's a barber. He's got a place across the street.
Is he around? Can I talk to him?
Yeah, come on.
Usually, you know, Larson closes up 2 o'clock on the dot. I wasn't paying much attention, but around 2:30, I looked across the street, and the lights were still blazing, and I could still hear that carousel thing playing. Now, right then and there, I figured something might be wrong. But, well, I was right in the middle of a shave and a facial, and anyway, when I finished, it slipped my mind. Now, around 3 o'clock, I looked across here, and everything is still wide open.
Mm-hmm. So you came over, huh?
Yeah?
You see any strangers hanging around during the last few hours?
Oh, now. A couple of my regulars came in, and a little before 2, Joe the peddler, we call him.
Joe the peddler?
Oh, yeah, he's a character that hangs around. He sells gum and shoelaces and things like that. Everybody on the street knows him, but I wouldn't call him suspicious, though.
What about on the street? Did you see any kids hanging around?
No, I did see a car parked out there with a couple of kids necking in it. That was about the time I saw Joe. I'd say that was around, 10 minutes to 2, something like that.
Do you remember what the car looked like?
Well, it looked like a two-door gray sedan, kind of beat up.
Thanks very much, Mr. Gar. If you remember anything else, will you give us a call at this number, please?
I sure will. Now, about Joe the peddler, he might be able to give you some information. I don't know.
You know where we can find this Joe the peddler?
Well, he kind of changes beds from time to time. Usually in one of them quarter flop houses over on Madison. Everybody knows him. You just ask for Joe the peddler. He won't talk, you know. He's a deaf mute.
Locating Joe the peddler was no problem. We picked him up in the second flop house and brought him back to the office. We left a man behind to search Joe's effects. We called in a finger language interpreter to help us in the interrogation.
He says he can lip read, and I can read back his answers. So if you'll just stand over here where he can watch you.
Oh, good. When did you last see Pop Larson?
He says Larson gave him bed money around 2 o'clock.
Was there anybody else there in the arcade? What did you do after Pop Larson gave you the bed money?
Says he went to a bar and spent it on booze.
Frank. Sullivan found us tucked away in Joe's mattress. So we're $400 there.
You know, it could be a saving. Some of those guys are kind of screwy that way.
No, I'm afraid not. He even had the slugs that Larson used with the name of the arcade on them. Wait a minute, let's confirm this. Yeah. Fingerprints. Yes, Captain Gray. What about those prints you got at Larson's place? Mm-hmm. Would you compare them with the ones you took off at Joe the peddler? You did, eh? On the drawer. Mm-hmm. All right, thanks. Well, the prints are the same.
What time did you say Pop Larson gave you the bed money?
Around 2 o'clock.
And when you went back, what time was that?
About...
What time did you go back?
I didn't go back. I bought a drink, then I went to bed.
You're lying. You went back with a gun and you killed Pop Larson and the parrot. Your friend who'd given you bed money for years for a lousy $400. You killed him. There's no sense in denying it. This is Pop Larson's money. These are the slugs from his arcade and his machine that were found in your mattress. Your fingerprints were found all over the cash drawer. Now own up to it.
I did take the money. I did. I'm sorry. He was my friend. I shouldn't have taken it. But I didn't kill him, and that's the truth. I went back when I saw his lights on after 2. I had drunk up the money he gave me and was going to ask for another handout. When I got there, he was dead on the floor, honest. Then I got a crazy idea. I figured he was dead and didn't need the money anymore. I knew where he kept it, so I figured they would blame whoever killed him for stealing the money. So I took it. I'm sorry, but I didn't kill him. He was my friend.
I don't know. What do you think, Frank?
It's possible. But on the other hand,
Captain Gray. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Typo? Yo, wait a minute. Give it to me in words I can understand, will you? Mm-hmm. All right, thanks. Take off your coat. Coat. Lab says there was definite traces of human blood and tissue on that dead bird's beak. Type O blood. Apparently the bird bit somebody just before it was shot. He hasn't got a mark on him.
sit down. Sit down. Suppose we go along with your story. Did you see anybody or anything that might give us a lead to the real killer? Did you see anybody either time you went to the arcade?
There was a young couple in a car.
What did they look like? What kind of clothes did they wear?
Boy had on a sweater. Big, heavy one with a V.
Well, at least the barber and him agree about the young couple.
Oh, he wants a pencil and paper.
Like a ski sweater.
Yeah.
All right, take him downstairs and book him.
Burglary?
And suspicion of murder. Till I can find out something else. Well, the lab says Larson's bird had parrot fever. Whoever it bit's going to get it.
Oh, what are the symptoms?
Well, it takes 5 to 20 days to incubate, then there's a fever, and you get headaches and nausea.
Well, how bad does it get?
Unless he gets medical attention, he'll die.
Oh, we better get on an APB to all doctors, huh? Every doctor in the city was alerted, and we had 6 or 7 false alarms because parrot fever is not an ordinary disease in the United States. On the 7th day, I got a call from Captain Gray. A young man had turned up at a doctor's office. Diagnosis, septic bird bite. Suspected parrot fever. I'm Lieutenant Ballinger. Dr. Green called this morning about a patient with parrot fever.
We gotta get out of here. There's a detective in the doctor's office.
The suspect's description checked out, even down to the V-striped ski sweater.
Here's the card he filled in. David Zender.
No address, huh?
No.
The name could be a phony, too.
I don't think so, Lieutenant. I told him I had to have an identification.
And he gave it to you?
I explained it was a health regulation with contagious diseases like parrot fever.
What did he do then?
He fished through the sweater and found an envelope. It was his name, all right.
Did you notice the address on it?
Sorry.
Just how sick is this man, Doctor?
Sick enough for the hospital. I told him how lucky he was that we caught him in time.
Well, he could have been luckier.
How, Lieutenant?
If the parrot hadn't bitten him at all. All right, thank you very much for your cooperation, Doctor. We checked through the city directories and phone books and came up with 3 David Zenders. The first was a pawnbroker in a downtown area. He had no male relative that even remotely matched the suspect. The second David Zender owned a rooming house on the south side. We talked to his wife who ran the place. She said that her husband was out of town.
New York. They've got him breaking in a new territory.
Oh, is he a salesman?
Yeah. Aluminum housewares.
How long has he been in New York?
Oh, a couple of weeks. I don't know exactly. After 8 years of marriage. Well, I'm fond of him, mind you, but we're modern.
Does your husband own a gun, Mrs. Zender?
Mm-hmm. And a permit.
Does he carry it with him?
No, he leaves it here at the house. Figures my running a place like this, I might need it. I keep it in my bedroom.
And what make is it?
38 Smith & Wesson.
Would you mind showing it to us?
What's David been up to?
Well, nothing if he's still in New York.
Well, I'll get it.
Well, if he is in New York, it shouldn't be tough to check.
She's fond of him. Modern.
Well, it isn't there.
Well, maybe he took it with him.
No, I don't think so. He wouldn't have any use for it.
Maybe one of the boarders took it.
From my bedroom.
Where's your husband staying?
I told you, New York.
What hotel?
Who knows?
What's the name of his company?
Blasco Ware Incorporated.
You wouldn't happen to have a photograph of your husband, would you?
Well, I've got a snapshot.
Well, that'll be fine.
I took it last fall at a barbecue. David's the one in the sweater.
Well, the ski sweater?
Yeah.
Who's the other young fellow?
Oh, he's a friend of mine. One of my roomers.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, Mrs. Ender. We'll let you have this back.
Bye. You can come out now. The law's gone. What'd you do with the gun, Tom?
Contacted the New York Police Department and asked them to check out David Zender's movements on the night of the killing. 2 hours later, the answer came back. Apparently, Zender was clean. He had been in New York the night Larson was shot, and he was still there. Joe, the peddler, was still our only suspect. We showed him Zender's picture. He recognized the sweater, but he wasn't too sure about the wearer's identity. I took the snapshot down to Dr. Green on the outside chance there was something wrong with Zender's alibi.
Yes. Yes, Lieutenant, that's him. That's the man.
You sure?
Definite. That's the young man I treated this morning.
But his wife says that he's in New York.
Then she's lying.
Well, the New York police say that he's in New York.
Whatever they say, I'm positive. Well, just a minute.
That's right.
That's odd.
What?
Wonder why he's wearing the other man's sweater.
I don't follow you.
Well, this is the young man I treated wearing his sports shirt. But this morning, he's wearing the other man's sweater.
Thanks, Doc. That does it. We returned to Joan Zender's rooming house. This time, we were determined to find the true connection between her, her husband, and the man in the ski sweater. She's alive. She's been pistol whipped.
Operator, it's a police emergency. Give me an ambulance right away, will you? Hurry it up.
We got her to a hospital. While waiting until she could give us a statement, we had ballistics match the slug that was taken from her body with the one that killed Larson. They had the same markings. They had been fired by the same gun. Now it was imperative that we get Mrs. Zender to talk.
It wasn't Tom's fault. It was her, Sheila.
Well, Tom is the other man in the photograph, right?
Yeah, Tom Herrick.
What happened after we left?
He was hiding in the bedroom when you were there. When you left, I asked him what he'd done with the gun. He was sick, Lieutenant. He told me they killed Larson. He said they hadn't meant to do it, but he didn't make sense. Then he phoned Sheila. Oh, it was horrible. She's the one you want. Tom didn't lay a hand on me. But Sheila... I told her I was going to call the police and I was going to tell them what Tom had told me. And then she attacked me.
She had the gun.
Yeah. She killed the old man. She tried to kill me. Tom didn't even try to stop her.
Tom, was your boyfriend, huh?
Yeah. Till Sheila Kent came along. A woman gets lonely when her husband's away all the time. You understand? A woman gets lonely.
Where does Sheila Kent live?
Well, she used to live at the rooming house till I threw her out. I saw she was making a play for Tom.
Where did they go? You know you can be held as an accessory unless you tell me what I want to know.
They took my car.
Could you describe it for me, please?
Green, 1960 sedan.
Thank you.
Lieutenant, you won't tell my husband, will you?
We had our suspects packaged in a car on the hot sheet. We rushed out a complete description to all departments. Every traffic officer, squad role, and detective in Chicago would be looking for a young girl and a guy in a green 1960 sedan. And since the man must now be in the virulent stage of parrot fever, it could only be a question of time. At 10:22, we got our call. A squad car had spotted our suspects and was following them. Captain Gray instructed the officers to continue following and to remain in radio contact with us.
I can't ride around anymore. I'll die. You gotta take me to a hospital.
We got the message. Our suspects had retraced their course and were now headed towards Hospital Row.
This is as far as I'm taking you. The rest of the way, you're going to have to make it yourself.
Sheila, I can't make it.
You'll have to. I'm getting out of here.
Hold it.
That's 6.
All right, come on, put your hands up. Right now, honey, move. I said put your hands up. Let's go.
Come on.
How'd you find me?
Don't worry, we found you.
All right, it's all over. Let's bring it up.
Herrick recovered from parrot fever. He and Sheila Kent were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for a robbery and a murder which netted them $12.